So just kind of get a feel for the room. I know you guys are chapter folks. Anybody else like LEC or chapter?
LLS.
What on the LEC?
Vice Chief of Chapters.
Vice Chief of Chapters. Okay. What?
Vice Chief of Administration.
Vice Chief of Administration. Okay. So perfect. Yeah. You anything on the LEC or just new deal number?
Just ordeal.
Just showing up for the fun. Fantastic. Yeah. All right. Well, kind of what we're going to talk about is a lot of this is going to be discussion. And so a lot of the last training we just kind of went over, shared some ideas and stuff. But I kind of want to set kind of a framework or a mindset for you guys to get into with kind of the direction we're heading with this. Can anybody tell me what innovation is? Yeah.
Making an idea.
Making an idea. Okay. Yeah.
Improving on something.
Improving on something. Very good. Anybody else want to add to that definition? Nobody, right? Okay, so new, improvements, changing, different. Yeah, innovation is like forward thinking kind of, right? It's the next generation, right? Breaking down those obstacles. So there's two companies that I want to talk about. They both have different products, but the idea of innovation is essentially the same. The first company is Ford Motor Company. You guys have all heard of Ford, right? I'm sure some of you maybe brought your parents own Fords or something. Way back when, Henry Ford, the guy that started the company, cars already existed, right? He already had cars, they'd already been invented, there was already a thing. But the way they made them was, it was a couple guys that would make one car. So these 4 or 5 guys, they would put the engine in, they'd put the frame together, they'd put the wheels on, they'd put in the steering wheel, put in the seats. Every part of the car was put together by these few guys. So each of them had to know how to put together the entire car. So there's a lot of knowledge, right? And it was kind of an inefficient way of putting together vehicles because, first of all, it cost more money. They couldn't produce as many. And there was more prone to mistakes because there were so many different parts going into it, and one guy kind of had to know how to do everything. So it caused some problems. But Henry Ford came along, and he thought, all right, I got this idea for an assembly line. Right? So instead of a few guys putting together one car, we've got a whole bunch of people putting together all these cars in a line. So car comes through, one guy puts the wheel on, right? But he doesn't attach the wheel. The next guy's the one that puts the lug nut on to attach the wheel. Or one guy puts on the frame, the next guy puts the engine in, the next guy puts the steering wheel in, the next guy puts the seats in, and it's this whole line, right? And so what that did was, that allowed for Ford to make lots of cars for a low price. You could buy a Ford for like less than $400 or something. It was very cheap for that time period. And so more and more people were able to travel by vehicle because more and more people could afford it. One of the big modes of transportation at that point was horses, right? But what's wrong with a horse? What does a horse do that a car doesn't? Or what does a horse doesn't do that a car does? Anybody? Dies. Okay, yeah, it dies. It's a living thing, right? Yeah, same.
A car doesn't get tired.
Doesn't get tired, right? So yeah.
Yeah, a car also doesn't poop.
Okay, well, it's the emissions, right? You get exhaust, but same. But sure, right? You got to clean up after the horse, right? So a horse is more prone to injury and disease. It's got a definite lifespan. It takes more resources. You got to grow all the oats and stuff for it to eat. Whereas a car, you can go farther. It's more reliable. It's less expensive to maintain. And so people started traveling more. They started going farther distances. And so cities started expanding, right? We started getting more roadways. And then the cars improved, right? We wanted to go farther, right? We wanted to get better fuel economy. We wanted to have more amenities in our car, right? So now we've gone from like the Model T all the way up to like luxury cars, right? We've got all these different air conditioning, you got GPS, you got you can sync with your Bluetooth, right? All these different things. And so Ford kind of raised the bar, right? They set a new standard for what cars are. And if we were to go back and drive a Model T now to Conclave, it'd be a much different experience, right? It wouldn't be as good for us because we're used to something much better. How many of you guys have an Apple product? Okay, pretty much everybody. Everybody does, right? You guys have iPods, iPhones, iPad, right? iMac, right? MacBook, all those different things, right? So, different product, but same basic principle, right? The computer existed already back in 1970s, early 1980s. IBM had produced some computers. Hewlett Packard was working on computers, but the computers were clunky, they were large, they were mainly used for corporations, they were expensive, they didn't make a whole lot of them. It was kind of a commodity to really have a computer. You've got computers like the size of this room, right? And so what Steve Jobs and Apple did was they came along and they said, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a computer that everybody can use. All right, we're going to make a computer that goes in classrooms. Everyone can use it. You don't have to be a programmer. You don't have to be a coder. Anybody can use this computer. You get a nice user interface, right? You get the mouse, click on icons. It's very easy, very simple, and it's less expensive. Well, then Microsoft, right? They kind of cornered the market. They had like, what, 90% or something of all personal computers are Microsoft products. So Apple moved on to the next thing, right? What was the next thing they did? Anybody know?
Wasn't it the iPod?
Basically, yeah, iPod, right? So they said, okay, computers, that's Microsoft's got that, whatever. We can really keep doing our thing, but we want the next best thing. Yeah.
Like, I remember, like, after Apple came out with the iPod, like, Microsoft tried to come out with Zune.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which really wasn't all that popular in my
Right.
opinion.
Right, because Apple had kind of like created what that product is, right? So when you think of like I'm going to get a music player, like you don't say I'm going to use my MP3 player. You say I'm going to use my iPod, right? Whether it's actually an iPod or not, it's kind of like the industry term for a music player, right? You just call it an iPod. And so they created this new product, right? They innovated. Now instead of using the Walkman or a radio or something, you can carry the music that you want, listen to what you want, broader selection, carry more music on it. Right? It's very small, it's lightweight. They redefined the way we listen to music. What was the next thing they did? Anybody know?
iPad.
No, not quite.
iPhone.
iPhone, right? 2007. They came up with the iPhone, right? So it's there was already smartphones on the market. They already had Palm Pilots. They already had Blackberries. But what they did was they said, okay, we're going to make this user-friendly. That's kind of Apple's mantra, right? User-friendly. Anybody can use this. Very simple, very intuitive. And they set kind of the standard for what smartphones are today, right? And so if we were to go back to something like this flip phone, this is my very first cell phone. I got this in 2008, like 6 years ago, right? If we go back to something like this, it'd be weird, right? How many of you guys have a smartphone? I saw you had one out, right? If you were to go back to something like this, would you feel good about it? No, right? Because you're used to something different. You're used to something better. Apple raised the bar, right? They raised the standard. For what we use as cell phones, right? You can't browse Facebook on this, so it's pretty much useless junk anyways. Yeah?
I tried switching from a smartphone to like a BlackBerry because like my smartphone started messing up. Like it was not the same.
Right, okay, so you kind of switched back a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. But overall, right, Apple raised the standard, raised the bar for what we think of as a smartphone, what we think of as a music player, right? There were tablets on the market, but they came out with the iPad, right? Same basic software, principle, right? Lightweight, all these different things. So basically what this comes down to is two different companies, but they both did the same thing. They both raised the bar. They both set the level of expectation for what their product is and what we accept. Now, we don't accept anything less. That's the mindset I want you guys to be in for this presentation, is that innovation, right? Raising the bar, setting a new standard for your events. Okay, so let's kind of focus now back towards, we get some chapter guys in here. Actually, do you guys have like chapter conclaves or chapter fellowships at all?
Chapter meetings.
Chapter meetings, okay, so run through, what is a chapter meeting for? What is it? It's
to plan upcoming meetings, who's going to like fellowships, what the lodge is doing, service projects, and upcoming ceremonies.
okay, so what's the name of your chapter?
Indian Prairie.
Indian Prairie. So Indian Prairie, if I were to walk into a chapter meeting for Indian Prairie chapter, I'd walk in, what, do I sit down?
Yeah.
Sit down at a table, okay, and then just like the chapter chief,
Yeah.
just run the meeting? Or?
I run the meeting and everyone gets an input in what we do.
Okay, and how long does that usually take?
30 to 45 minutes.
30 to 45 minutes, okay. Do you do it in conjunction with a round table or
So
something?
we meet the same night as round table.
Okay, okay. Do you ever do anything different?
Yeah, occasionally we've gone to Sky High to increase.
What's Sky?
Trampoline place.
It's a gym, yes.
We're going to Von Owen.
Yeah, we're gonna have like a sports night.
Cookout.
Yeah, cookout.
Sports night. So are you guys, you're like cooking out with the round table, or?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's gonna have a cookout and we're allowed to eat the food and then do our own thing.
Okay, so taking advantage of Sky High Sports Night Cookout, right? So they're kind of different, right? So you're a little longer, you got your business portion, right? But then you also enjoy what this has got. Do you ever do anything to bring in new people for these?
We're gonna probably look in the face.
That's our
Whoever
next
gets
meeting.
The most people to go gets to buy Chef Cheese. So that's just our way of getting people to go.
Okay, so what you're doing essentially is you've got your meeting portion, right? And what do we think of when we think of a meeting? Do we think of excitement? Do we think of thrills? No, it's boring, right? It's business. So, you've got this meeting, right? You gotta get people there. So what you did is you made this sports night, you go to a fun trampoline place, you do this pie in the face event, and you bring people in, right? Okay, perfect. Anybody else? Anybody? Sam, you're Vice Chief of Administration, right?
Yeah. Well,
So, what do you guys do for a fellowship?
our fellowship's Friday night. We don't do a whole lot. We have a little Cracker Barrel, sort of a social hour type thing where you get to talk to people. Saturday morning we do training cells and service projects, and then Saturday afternoon we'll do activities. We'll do lodge ball. between the
Activities. Okay,
campus.
yeah. Let's have some activities for me.
We'll do lodge ball. What was it? We'll sometimes do pie in the face. We'll have training cells, patch trading.
You guys ever open up like a climbing tower or shooting sports? Or
Occasionally.
shooting sports. Okay, perfect. Yeah, awesome. What about you? What's your lodge do?
So we have our fellowship Friday night with a Cracker Barrel, and we have a lodge meeting to go over what we're doing over the weekend. And then on Saturday, basically we do projects, and then afternoon we do the ordeal ceremony and the brotherhood ceremony later that night.
Okay.
And we also have a whole dad that night too.
Sure.
So we have root beer, ice cream, cookies, occasionally brownies, just to get the new ordeal members comfortable about being in the OA and congratulate them.
Okay. So you mentioned how the ordeal is like in the afternoon, right? So they get that all finished up early, right?
Yeah.
And then so the evening portion, they're able to talk and enjoy and fellowship and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an excellent idea. So, the ordeal, you got to come out, right? You're coming out to doing this thing, this OA. You've never really heard of it. You got elected into it, and you're going to spend 24 hours not talking, doing service projects, and eating pretty much nothing, right? It's a great first impression for the organization. It's fantastic. So, that's a fantastic thing. That's very excellent of you to kind of end that Saturday afternoon, and then in the evening they can really see what the fellowship is about and show them that this isn't all work, right? There's a lot of fun and games involved too. The HODAG especially, fantastic. Yeah, perfect. Anyone else? Any other different things that your lodge does for fellowships?
Oh man, our lodge. Everyone can bring their own board game, and during meals or free time, they can do that. For fall fellowship, Hex City Lodge also comes with us, so they bring inflatables. And then we also have a volleyball net.
Inflatables, volleyball, perfect. Yeah. So what this is all leading up to, what I'm kind of getting at here with all these different events and all these different activities, is that we've got these 13, 14, 15-year-olds that they're not really sure what to think of this OA thing, right? Let's talk about that first impression. It's really maybe not the greatest thing for them. So what we have to think about is this thing called the golden circle, right? You got your what, how, and why. Okay. And what you have to do is you have to start them off with this hook, right? You got to find something to get them there. So a chapter meeting. Chapter meeting sounds dreadful. So what you do, right? This is what you figured out is you have like a trampoline place, right? It's different, it's fun. You know, it's not necessarily something you're gonna go to all the time. So you bring them in like, hey, come to this chapter event. We've got this trampoline thing going on. It's gonna be awesome, right? I'm sure you got like, you know, maybe like a reduced price or something maybe, or you've got, or
We had a group on.
you had a Groupon. Okay, so yeah, so it was maybe a cheaper way to go. What you like maybe throw some pizza or something in the mix, right? Just get them excited about that. So hey, yeah, I'm gonna go do that. That sounds like fun. Let's get a couple of my buddies, right? A couple of my friends. We're gonna have a good time with this. And then while they're there, you sit them down for that business portion of it, and you talk to them then. So you find that hook, right? Same thing with this cookout. Come on over, you know, bring your friends from your troop that are in the OA, get them involved, get them excited to come to this cookout, and then you let them know what the OA is all about, right? Same thing with your hodag, right? Come on out to Conclave. We're gonna have this hodag, ice cream, root beer, lodge ball, fun games, activities, and then while they're there, you get them to the service projects, right? You get them to know what the OA is all about. So you try to find something to entice them, and then you bring them in. So in addition to that, so we've got all these great ideas, right? How are we gonna get people there though? Like we can plan all this stuff, but what do we have to do to get them there? Same.
We need to communicate what's going on.
Communicate what's going on, right? So communication. What's our communication method? Or what's our tools for communication? Yeah.
Facebook.
Facebook.
Face to face.
Face to face. I heard. Yeah.
Phone tree
Phone tree. Okay.
or email lists.
Phone tree, email list. Yeah.
Skype.
Skype is another good one. What else?
Group chat.
What's that? What'd you say?
Said texting.
Texting. Okay. Right. So okay. So we got a couple different things here, right? So face to face. That's a great one, and that's probably the best, honestly. Right? You talk to someone face to face, right? I want you to come. Right? Hey, Sam. Man, I want you to come to the concert. Like I want to see you there. Like I want you to come. We're gonna have this hodag thing. It's gonna be great. It sounds like something you'd be interested in. You should come to this. You should come to the conclave, right? Face to face. Perfect. Phone tree. What's a phone tree? Explain the phone tree.
Where we have all the people that are in our lodge, and so a couple of people that are signed up to go on like the phone tree that are actually just are going to the conclave and they weren't being asked. They're asked to call. Okay, can you call like I don't know these 10 people saying like, oh, can you know this? You should go to the conclave. You know, it's a really fun thing, and you should like lots of people do it. So
Right? So yeah, one guy calls 2 people, they all call 2 people, right? That principle. Yeah.
You can also try a conference call.
Conference call is another good one. Everyone loves a good conference call. Sure. So a phone tree, conference calls, right? Perfect. You get a bunch of people on at once. Right? Email list. There's like, what is this, like a mass email?
yeah. Or-
Okay. So when you guys use like Lodge Master?
Yeah, where they send up a like blurb of everything.
Perfect. Yeah, no, you get everyone at their email box, their inbox, right? What about Skype? How can you utilize Skype? Yeah.
You could pretty much through Skype you can go on your Facebook friends list and anybody who's like your friend on there that's in your lodge, you can just pretty much contact them that way.
Right. Kind of moves back into face to face.
Yeah.
Right. Texting, right? You text somebody, hey, planning the conclave, right? We're gonna be hanging out. It's gonna be a good time.
Group message.
What's that?
Send a group message. One of our strategies is send a group message out to everyone. The only way you get off is go to chapter meeting. The only way you get out of the group messages, you go to the
No
chapter
one likes
meeting.
my group messages.
I love that. That's actually a fantastic idea.
No one likes my group messages.
No, because it's annoying because everyone's responding.
You can come back when you have pain.
That's it. That's a good one. I like that's unique. That's different. Yeah, group messages. I kind of wanted to come back to this in the Facebook, right? Facebook falls under what? Social media.
Yeah.
Where does everyone spend their time now?
Internet.
Social media. right? You got Facebook on your phone, you got Twitter, you got Instagram, you got Snapchat, you got MySpace, Google Plus, Tumblr, right? You got Twitter, all those things. Everyone spends their time there. And so emails are great, but emails, a lot of times they get pushed aside, right? They get pushed into the spam filter. And a lot of younger airmen don't necessarily use email, right? Yeah.
Also, like, I've seen this with like a couple of our in our lodge that they're like, oh look, that looks cool, and then they like, oh my gosh, so it's like this huge thing. It's like, okay, next.
Right. Yeah, huge, like all the names in there or something. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's like, it's like they in Google and like Gmail they have like this one line. It's like, oh hey, like the subject line is like really cool. I'm like, oh that's cool, I want to look at it. And they click on it and they're like, oh my god, and they're like, and it's like a big long list of like what they're doing at Conclave or whatever.
Right, perfect. Yeah, absolutely. It's a good way to put a lot of information into something. Is that what you're getting at, or is like?
No, like that. Like sometimes emails have too much information. They're like, oh my god, it's like overload. And
I got you. Yeah, so they can be overwhelming. Sure. Now this is a lot of times a great way to get a hold of some of your older adults, right? Some of the older people, because they use email a lot more. But your regular youth guy, right? He doesn't open his email. He checks his Facebook inbox more than he checks his Gmail. So social media is a great way to get people involved, right? You got your chapter pages, your lodge pages. Great way to share photos. Photos are great too. Share photos because everyone loves a good photo. People that they know on Instagram. So social media is a huge one, but these are also all very, very important. And so you have to really kind of, they did a study once or something, is you have to hear something like 7 times before you remember it. So by using multiple channels of communication, people are going to hear about it. Yeah.
Well, what we've been doing lately is every meeting, like our troop meetings, we go up and say, hey guys, our OA meeting, our chapter meetings, our second Wednesday of every month. We keep going up and saying every week, so it gets pounded in.
Right. So every time they see it, you're thinking about that chapter meeting. Yeah. Excellent point. So yeah, communication promotions is great, but the other thing you can do, and what we kind of circle back a little bit, is you've got these things to promote, right? So when you talk about coming to a chapter meeting, don't necessarily just say chapter meeting for the business portion. Say chapter meeting because we're going to pie in the face for the most people that come here, right? People love competition. So competition is fantastic. A good way to incorporate. There's no way I'm losing. No, I'm going to bring as many people as I can from my troop to this chapter meeting so that we get to be the ones that pie. What's your name? Luke. We get to pie Luke in the face. I mean, that's why I go to a chapter meeting for the Indian Plains? Indian Prairie. I'd go to your chapter meeting if I got to pie Luke in the face. So, yeah, the competition is fantastic. Sam mentioned the Cracker Barrel, the fellowship, right? Kind of relaxing. People get to talk, catch up. You don't necessarily see everybody all the time, so it's good to see some faces you haven't seen before. This is what you want to be promoting, right? It's these things. And incorporating these kind of things into your events is a great way to increase your attendance, right? Let the event sell itself, essentially. And people are going to be much more likely to show up to something if they've got all these other events, all these other things to be able to go to. You find that hook to bring them in. This event alone, right? How many things went on last night? We were here for what? In the span of 2 hours, how many things did we have open to us? Yeah.
You had basketball shooting, those things, stick things, hit people, bounce houses, slides, and ice cream.
Yeah, so you had the ice cream, you had the Cracker Barrel, you had the opening show, you had the car show, you had the basketball, you had the Minute to Win It games, you had the guess how much candy's in this jar, right? There's like 7 things right there, and it's all these different things, right? You're hitting all the demographics of people, right? Some people want to go look at the cars, other people want to play the Minute to Win It, other people want to compete in the inflatable jousting, right? And so all they really had to do for this event was talk about those things, right? Come out Friday night, we're going to have this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And so that's what promoted the event. That's what got people to come, right? They didn't talk about my training, right? They didn't say, hey, come to Conclave and learn how to boost event participation, because no one wants to do that, but everyone wants to do inflatable jousting. So those are the high points you want to hit, and let your event really sell itself at that point. So fellowships are awesome. Fellowships and conclaves are great. So it's a fantastic way to get people out to camp and do service and things like that. Winter banquet, though, we're talking. It's a little bit of a different event, a little bit of a different demographic, right? how many of you guys have more older people that come to your winter banquets? Right? Because they don't have to do the service as much, so it's more fellowship, getting to see faces and whatnot. That's a different audience, right? But you still want to get your younger airmen there. But what's a winter banquet from an airman's perspective? From your 13, 14-year-old, what's he looking at the winter banquet as? Boring, right? You're going halfway across the council to go to this church basement or this VFW or Knights of Columbus Hall. We love those places because they're like reduced fees and are free. To go to this dinner, right, on a Sunday night to see people get awards that I've never met, never heard of. Right? It's not that exciting to them. So, how can we bring them in to a winter banquet?
An auction.
We have door prizes.
Door prizes?
One of our oldest guys in the lodge won an Xbox 2 years ago.
Wow, that's impressive. Yeah.
Actually, if one of the chapters in our lodge have the most youth there, they get a headdress.
Okay. So giveaways, right? Giveaways and prizes is one awesome thing.
There's an auction.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
silent
there's an
auction.
auction.
So the auctions are cool because you can mix that up a little bit, right? You got two demographics. You can get the patch auction. That's a lot of your older guys. Yeah, but then I've been to banquets too where they do they auction off like pies and like camping equipment.
Ours are auctioning off like Walter Payton stuff that he's
Right.
selling. They're offering pretty big stuff.
Right, so you're bringing in a lot of different kinds of people for that auction. I want to get that Walter Payton thing. I don't, whatever. If there's a banquet too, I'll stay for that. But I'm coming for that auction. Yeah.
Provide entertainment.
Provide entertainment, right? So maybe a guest speaker, or maybe you've got like a band or something. Maybe I don't know. Think outside the box. What's that?
Instead of comedian.
Comedian, right? A comedian, magician, whatever. All kinds of stuff, right? What about your venue, your location? What about changing that up a little bit? So instead of coming to winter banquet, I know some lodges will do this where they have your winter banquet's having a lock-in, right? It's Friday night they do the banquet, or Saturday night they do the banquet. A lot of the older guys come to the banquet part, and then a lot of the youth stick around because later that night they go to like a water park, or they go to a lock-in at a school or a rec center or something. You got a pool, you got basketball, or you got all these different fun and games and stuff to go to, and so that's what gets those younger guys in. You bring them in for that, but they come to the banquet, they get to see the awards, they get to hear about OA High Adventure, they hear about NOAC, they hear about Aero Tour, all those different things going on, but you brought them in through the water park or the lock-in or whatever. So a lot of this comes down to finding those activities, finding those games, that fun, to bring people in, kind of hook them, get them enticed to show up, and then while they're there, that's when you tell them about the other parts that the Ordinary has to offer, and that's how you get them in, right? You get them involved at that point because they come for the water park, they stay for Northern Tier, or they stay to go to Philmont, or go to Conclave, or whatever. Another person in the last one mentioned special guests. They have Dan Dick is in their lodge, former National Vice Chief. So he comes and talks to the new ordeals and gets them excited, right? How many people came just to see Ricky Angeletti this weekend? I didn't think there'd be any hands up. That's okay. What's that? Ricky, he's Central Region Chief. You should go talk to him. He's a nice guy.
I met him last year.
Anything else you guys have in terms of things maybe we didn't cover, or questions you got? Something maybe like a burning issue that's really been on your mind this whole time that we haven't talked about? Anything? Okay, so yeah, to summarize, basically, we're talking about bringing people in, finding that hook, right? So in the last group, we had climbing tower, shooting range, talked about a lot of this different stuff, right? So, you want to find your target demographics. You got your younger airmen, you got your older airmen. So you want to find stuff that interests them. And so you want to put together a quality event, find that hook to bring them in, and then you want to promote it effectively, right? Social media, email, phone calls, face-to-face, get the people there, and then once they're there, they're going to see what that event has to offer, what the OA has to offer. And by doing so, you're really raising the bar, right? You're setting a new expectation, a new standard for your event. And if you continue to do that, you're going to get those people to recur. You're going to get them to come back because they start to enjoy things other than the water park. They get to come and see their friends and be a part of things and whatnot. And that's how you guys can, it's one way to boost your event participation.